everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, that's the intro that I got right now. But I wanted to talk to you guys today. Let me get my notes. I wanted to talk to you guys today about my eczema journey and just a couple of key things that I have been doing to, I'm going to take this. A couple of things I've been doing to help me, because my eczema has gotten better since November. So just to give you an update, in November 2019, right now it's March 3rd, 2020, it's been November, December, January, March. It's been 3 months, right? 3 months. My eczema got really, really bad after Thanksgiving, because I had, like Thanksgiving food, like I tried to stay away as much as possible from like the gluten, but it's really hard during Thanksgiving. So, because I know that I have like a gluten allergy, but I know it's not all gluten that's affecting my eczema, and I've been doing a lot of online research and studying what triggers me and like noticing the different changes in my body, and like also adding into my diet and taking away certain things in my diet. So like one thing, for example, is I cut out the sugar. I didn't know how much sugar affected eczema. I cut out the sugar, I cut out the gluten, no dairy, no preservatives, no meat except a couple like fish here and there, and a little chicken here and there. I cut out alcohol. I cut out caffeinated beverages. So I would cheat here and there, and I'm like, oh my god, my skin would flare up again. Like today, if you see it, it's much, much better. I wish I had like a before picture, but it's like too embarrassing to sometimes put a before picture because it's on your face. I know everyone who has eczema out there knows what I'm talking about, and it's like on the back, it's on my face, on the back of my neck, on my back, and the patches that I had on my back started getting really bad. So I've been trying to take all these preventative measures. I've been also adding certain things into my diet. So like, for example, papaya is really good for eczema. It's also really good if you ate something bad. It's kind of like an anti-acid, anti-inflammatory food, like bubbly stomach food. So papaya really helped a lot. And then also they talk about all these different eczema people who study this stuff, putting more fermented foods into your diet. So like sauerkraut, pickles. Who would have thought? Never thought about that. So I have been adding those kinds of foods and staying away from spicy foods as much as possible, because I didn't know that spicy foods trigger eczema. I'm like, I love spicy foods. Love spicy foods. I mean, come on now, people. Who doesn't love spicy foods? I cut out anything that was spicy. So I love the sriracha. I love sriracha. I love like this other little spicy sauce that I got from Trader Joe's. I cut out what else? Oh, what's it called? The chili sauce, like the Chinese chili sauce that I would put with my food. I cut that out. Man, I'm telling you, that new eczema diet, once like that happened, that I had a really bad reaction around Thanksgiving time. That's when I was like, I have to stop eating these kinds of food. Certain oils. So I do notice that canola oil affects me. Don't eat canola oil. It's bad. I didn't know how bad it really was for you also to eat it. And there's a lot of foods that are made with canola oil. There was a trail mix bag that I got at Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, by the way. I pretty much shop there 90% for my food. And then 10% at like Publix. So Publix is in like the Florida area. So I will shop at Publix, and then once in a while Winn-Dixie. But Winn-Dixie is like, they don't always have like always the best foods all the time, you know. So yeah. So it's just a couple things. So to review, no canola oil or anything that's made with it. So reading like the labels really helped me a lot and really helped me also realize what I have been allergic to. So I kind of call it like the tingles when I start tingling, when my skin starts tingling, or when I start feeling itchy, or when I'm starting to feel like I have a really bad eczema patch that will start developing here really, really bad. You can't really see it now. It just kind of looks like a little bit of a scar. But I mean, when it gets really bad, it gets like almost like bubbled. Like your skin kind of like gets inflamed and bubbles a little bit. So, like, that was getting really bad. Then I started getting something here. Then I started getting something here. Then here. Then here. I'm like, oh my God. And then in eczema on my ears. I've never had eczema on my ears until, like, last year when when I had that really bad reaction. And I started taking also milk thistle. Like, there's this girl on YouTube. What's her name? Sarah Michelle. I'll link her name down in the description. She's an eczema coach. She's awesome. You should look at her videos. So I started taking milk thistle. I cut out the caffeine, cut out the spicy foods, cut out the sugar, cut out the meat, cut out the dairy, especially bacon. Bacon, for some reason, really triggers eczema. Didn't know. I went to EDC Orlando, and at that point, that was like the beginning of, what was that? Was that the beginning of November? Was it? I'm trying to remember now. Anyways, it was in November too, and when I went there, I was going down. I was going down, like, because everything was triggering my eczema. It was just like, I can't eat anything. And at one point, it was getting so bad that I was like, oh my God, if I don't get this under control, I could start becoming kind of like anorexic, because I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. Like, you start feeling like, well, what can I eat? I don't know. Because everything starts making your face blow up. But it really has turned a new leaf with my eczema, and it really has healed, because like I have a little patch here that I've had here for years, and a lot of people ask like, oh, is that a burn? I'm like, no, my eczema has been so bad in this one little spot that it's actually just darkened. So you feel like kind of hopeless, I guess you could say is the word, and like lost and hopeless with the eczema. And another thing that girl mentions, and I did notice this too, was stress really triggers eczema. Didn't know that. And I was like, well, that makes sense, because I've always been a very anxious and stressed out person, and had a lot of social anxiety, and working environments always really triggered my stress a lot, because people are always so mean, you know, and so rude and aggressive all the time, or you feel like you're always having to like defend yourself because of the way that people interact with you. So, or just, you know, always being like laying down like the law with certain things, and like at least the jobs I've had, you know. So I didn't realize how stressed out my own body was, so I started doing like a stress journal to help me with my stress, and like seeing what triggers my stress, like certain things happening with like my home life or my work life, or not feeling like good enough, I would say too. It's like not feeling good enough to like what you did was enough, you know, and that triggers stress. So it's like a never ending cycle. You're like, oh my God, I can't eat anything. And then like your mind is also like stressed out because you can't eat anything. And then you're hungry. It's just a bad combination. It's like, I'm hungry. I can't eat anything. I'm feeling stressed out about my work life. I'm feeling stressed out about my home life. I can't eat, like, it's just all these problems that you start, I don't know, coming in contact with. So you start feeling like hopeless, and then the hopeless also causes stress, and then it causes depression. So I feel like I finally have gotten like out of this depressive, stressed, anxiety ridden place that I was feeling like November, December, January, February, like half of February. So I feel like I'm finally like out of it. And I'm realizing how much, like, I just need to take one thing and one step at a time with things. It's really hard because, like, I'm so, like, I guess hard on myself is the word. I'm hard on myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many goals. I need to get all these goals done. I'm very, like, goal orientated and driven to, like, get these things done. I'm like a doer. Like, I need to do it. And if I'm not doing it, then I feel like I'm failing, which is a bad cycle. But I'm just being honest. It's like, if I don't do anything, then I'm a failure. It's terrible. But it's the truth. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way. I think it's just like a perfectionism, you know? So, you live and you learn, and I definitely think my stress has definitely decreased for sure. And I've also been all kind of shying away because I own my own business, but I'm a small business owner. I don't have like 10 employees. It's just me, myself, and I, and the occasional contractor that I'll hire, or I will like project manage certain projects, so I'll be in contact with the project's contractors. You know what I'm saying? So it's just taking one day at a time, I think, and I think also what has helped me, what other eczema people I've watched on YouTube say, is like meditating. And I think the thought of meditating itself kind of stressed me out. I know it sounds so crazy when I say it out loud. Everything stresses me out. But I live in like South Florida. To me, everything here is very stressful, and it's not a place like when people think of South Florida, think of, oh, Miami, it's so great vacation. That traffic is real out there. It's to me like another version of like an LA or a New York, because it's so much traffic out there. It's intense. So especially if because we're in season right now, so we're in season. What is it, like September, October time till about May, June-ish, and then it just dies. It's just like summer started, everyone's gone. So I have realized like how much and how important it is to really breathe and to take things one step at a time, because I want to do good. I want to make more money. I want to progress in my business. I want to start saving for my retirement and getting all my things organized for my life and doing and paying off these debts and blah, 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 blah. And I think probably putting too much pressure to perform, in a sense, really agitates my body, and I didn't even realize it really was. And I think about all those people who have those really high stress, high tension jobs. I can't even imagine what their health must be in. Because if my health was in this kind of state, and I didn't even know it was even in this kind of state, it makes sense that all of a sudden those people just like, they just die at like 40. They just have like a heart attack. Like, because your body can't handle that, even though you think that you can handle that. Your body can't handle it. And you need to realize, and what I've realized, at a certain point, you just have to stop, let it go, and that be the end of it. And if someone's giving you a problem about not doing something, it's like, I need to look out for my mental health, because my mental health is connected to my physical health, especially when it comes to eczema. But it's also like that when it comes to other health issues like high blood pressure, or like you're always working all the time, so you never have a time to like make your own food, so you're always eating out, so it's not good for your budget. But then it's also not good for your health because food out is not really the healthiest. There's a couple like good healthy food places here in like South Florida area, but they're very expensive. They're not cheap. It's one meal out is like 15 to $20 at one of these like healthier food places, and that amount of money you could make the same thing at home, so it's just like a bad cycle, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to make this video any longer, but if you would like to follow me on social media, my name is Traveling Gypsy Love on social media, as well as, sorry about that. I'm just going to end it there because I don't know what else I'm going to say. So, have a great day, guys. Remember those people with eczema out there. Don't be afraid to have less anxiety in your life, and don't be afraid to say no to people who are pressuring you to do things that you don't feel comfortable with and that are not good for your mental health. Stay free, baby. Bye.